Well, good afternoon. How are you all? Well, I have a different point of view today. We're away in the van and we're going to have drinks with some friends a little bit later, very soon actually. So I wanted to make some crackers and I didn't have very many ingredients. So I had ingredients for Brazilian cheese puffs. So I thought I would give you my twists or my pimps on the puff. So super easy. Follow the recipe for the Brazilian cheese puffs with a couple of twists. One twist is, instead of arrowroot flour, use tapioca flour. This is way more economical and it's easily available in your supermarket, usually on the bottom shelf in the Asian section, and it's a third of the price of arrowroot flour. So that's my first tip. The second tip is changing the Gruyere cheese for another nice sharp cheese. I often use Parmesan, didn't have any here. So I've just got this really nice sharp cheese. So just a cheddar, and I'm going to pimp it after with a little bit of feta and a clove of garlic. So I didn't have any milk. I was going to do it with yogurt, but our friends next door had some UHT milk. So it is a Zimmel milk, but that'll be fine. So let's get cracking. So under here, I'm going to search for Brazil, or just put Braz, and Brazilian cheese puffs. So this is what I call pimped puffs. So you can do this, even changing these ingredients, and put them into your oven. So, but we're going to do these with the sandwich press because the Thermomix and the sandwich press always come away in the van. So I'm just going to start here. So the recipe will ask for me to turn the oven on. I don't need to do that. I don't need the puff pan. Now, the scales have gone on. As I say, I like mine cheesy, and because these are going to be, I'm going to make them crispy to make them like a biscuit. So I want them a little bit cheesier than normal. So a bit of extra cheese, and tick that off, go next. And I'm just going to grate that with a clove of garlic. Okay, so, and we will grate. And you can hear when it's done, even with the TM7, that is a lot quieter when you've got really hard ingredients. And because this is a cheddar cheese, it is quite crumbly, but it's all going to blend down into our batter. So we're going to go next, and I need my milk. It says full cream milk. I've got Zimmel today, and I need 160 grams. And that's going to tick off. Oh, then some oil. So then I need 60 grams of vegetable oil. That I'm just going to have enough of. That'll do. And I've got my egg, and I've got my arrowroot or tapioca flour. Okay, so if you've got any other ideas on what you could do with these, I have actually also made them in a waffle iron. So give that a go, okay? So I need 170 grams of flour. None of these things will wait. I'm just hoping, oh, yep, I've got enough. I have enough. There you go. So remember, tapioca flour, it's upside down. Tick that off. Now it says salt, so instead of salt I usually use my veggie stock paste, which it doesn't look like I bought with me, but I'm going to put some of my famous CCGG mix in, which is has a little bit of chili in there. So just a teaspoon of that, and a little bit of, this is a salt and pepper mix. Whoops. A little bit of salt and pepper. Losing my power cord here. Okay, got that ticked off. Next, need to blend all that together. So if you've been watching me for a while, I haven't been doing as many regular lives as I used to, but back in the day I used to do a live at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, and I was notorious for leaving or misplacing my measuring cup. With the TM7 you don't need to worry as much, but what I keep misplacing is my new spatula. So I have it here now because it's the only one I've got, but it is fabulous. It's based off a Japanese knife and it cleans the bowl so well. So that's given a scrape down. It then says next, it wants to blend again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw in my feta. It's the Danish feta, so it's very soft. And just pop that in, and that second blend will blend that all together. So ka-ching, ka-ching. Next it'll say to fill each of the muffin, so you need the mini muffin. For this 24 mini muffins, it does make more than 24. But what we're going to do, I'm just going to glide this back and around so I can put my sandwich press and plug that in. Now that's going to take a couple of seconds to warm up. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm putting all my Facebook Lives onto YouTube now, because Facebook very kindly deleted a whole heap of content. I lost years and years of lives and I kind of lost my mojo for a little while, but I figured I'm just going to get back on the horse and learn how to do YouTube. So watch this space, okay? I will post my YouTube channel in the comments, okay? There's not a lot on there at the moment and there's not a lot of TM7 stuff, so watch this space, okay? So just wait for that to warm up a second and then we will pour. Has anyone tried this before? I don't know if I actually invented it, but I feel like I was one of the first to know about this. I started doing this during COVID, okay? So when I had lots of time on my hands to think about what I could do when we weren't going out. So anyway, so these are Brazilian cheese puffs flat out. That's warm. Great thing with this, you can use your sandwich press for pancakes as well. Use it for omelettes. Now the first one I'm going to do it like a wrap, because you can use these as a wrap. They're very flexible because of the tapioca flour, okay? So just pop that there. You don't normally need to flip them, but I've got a little pair of tongs here. Ah, look at that, yep. Just a little bit longer. So the longer you leave these in your sandwich press, they will eventually go crispy. So just keep looking at them. There's no timing. Everyone's sandwich press will be different heats, I'm imagining. I do find I've got the sandwich press with the little slider on it, and I just have it to open because I want them quite thin. Some sandwich presses don't have a guide on them, so they'll always be flat. So, looky-yaw. So you can see how flexible they are. Just going to flip it and brown it a little bit. So what else is on the menu for the rest of the week? I haven't really thought about it because we're away camping, so I just make it up as I go every day. I think we're going to have probably made in the sandwich press as well. I've got some little chicken tenders that I'm going to make up a bit later. That's it. So that's your, look how thin that is. That is your cheese puff flat out, and you can see how thick the batter is. Now if you want your wrap to be a bit thicker and you've got a guide on your sandwich press, you can just put it a little bit thicker. and that will leave it thicker. But you can see how thin that is. If I leave that a little bit longer, that would go quite crispy when it cools, and you can break them up and use them like a cracker, which is what we're going to do this afternoon when we go and have drinks later. So, what's new? Oh, if you're considering getting a TM7, I've always got people looking at graduating. So if you have a TM6 and you want to sell that before you get your TM7, at the moment is the shortest wait time. So if you order your TM7 now, there's only a 4-week wait, which is the shortest time we've had since the launch. Just a little bit of FYI. So you can see this one is a little bit more like a pancake. So it's a little bit thicker. And also now this is nice and brown, nice and warm, it's a lot quicker. So that one's nearly done. Next one I'm going to do really thin, and I'm going to make it really crispy, and then I shall make my adieu. Oh, the other thing I sometimes put into mine are chili flakes or some Italian herbs. So you can always sprinkle other stuff on the top if you like. So, or this batter keeps really well in the fridge for a couple of days. So if you didn't want to make a big batch all at once, you can keep the batter. Don't make these in advance, they don't keep, okay? The batter will keep, so it's just as easy to put your sandwich press back on. And there you go, look at that. Woo. So I'll do one more super thin. So the batter is a bit thicker than normal because I put the extra ingredients in. I'm going to flatten that one right down. So they smell divine. Garlic and cheese, match made in heaven. Yum. Gee, no, I won't do that. I was going to put some chili flakes on there, but better not because I'm serving it to other people. Anyways. So keep an eye out for my YouTube channel. I will pop it into the comments probably on Friday once I've learned how to upload these Facebook Lives into YouTube. Then I can never lose them apparently. So let's hope. So it was very frustrating having all that content disappear forever. So, woo, give that a flip. And I'm going to let that one go a little bit crunchier. So, yum. Have you done this before? I'd love to know. Remember, if ever you put any comments in the thread, I will always come back through and read your comments and answer any questions you might have. Okay? On another note, if you want to book a demo with me in person, that would be awesome. I'd love that. Otherwise, I can do virtual as well. So it's a lot more fun in person though. So, if possible, of course. I do have customers all over Australia, so I do virtual, but I also travel a bit too. Oh, that's looking good. Look, you can actually see when that cools, that's going to be quite crunchy. So these taste like Chedx. Do you remember the biscuits? They're a wheat biscuit and they're very cheesy. That's what these taste like once you get them to be crispy. Chedx cheese crackers. So anywho, I think I'll leave you there and continue with this little steaming facial that I'm having in the caravan. So I shall catch up with you all on the flip side, and remember #replay if you're watching this a little bit later. All right, I will catch up with you again later. Bye. Actually, this is that done? Yes. Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. That's a thin and crispy. So once that cools down, that will snap apart, and they will be with our cheese and crackers this afternoon. Actually, I might put that first one back on to go a bit crispier. Okay, I know I rub it on, don't I? Some things never change. Bye.